Benjamin stopped at the entrance of the uncompleted building and held his breath. Inside, the air felt cold and strange, even though the Lagos sun was burning outside. Blocks were stacked. A torn curtain flapped where a window should be. And there, standing in the shadows, were tall men in black suits. Their shoes shone like mirrors. Their eyes watched him without blinking. At the center of them all, a broad-shouldered man turned slowly. Benjamin knew that face from the news, from billboards, from the big screens at Ojota. Chief Williams, the billionaire, the owner of JJ Tech, the company Benjamin had dreamed of joining since he wrote his first line of code. Benjamin's heart pounded. What was a billionaire doing in an empty building at the edge of town? Why were there guards? And why had a crying girl in a tattered gown led him here? Before he could speak, the girl squeezed his hand. "Thank you for not walking away," she said softly. Then she stepped forward, and everything Benjamin thought he knew about this day, about his life, cracked like dry glass. That morning had started simple. Benjamin woke in his small single room behind a mechanic's shop. The walls were bare. The ceiling fan clicked as it turned, slow like an old clock. On the table sat his notebook, full of code ideas and drawings of app screens he wanted to build. He opened it the way some people open a prayer book. He had been the best software engineering student in his class. His project, a low-data chat app for small businesses, had won an award. People clapped for him. Cameras flashed. He called his parents on the road home, voice shaking with joy. They never made it back. A speeding truck, a smashed car, a phone that rang and rang with no answer. After the funeral, the world became quiet. Benjamin sent CVs. He knocked on doors. He sat in reception areas that smelled like polish and lemon. "We will get back to you," people said. Weeks turned into months. The money finished. The smiles stopped. He did day jobs loading cement, carrying blocks, fixing old phones, anything to keep hope alive. But each night, he returned to the same room and the same fan and the same notebook of dreams. That morning, he told himself, just take one step. So he put on his old ash t-shirt, washed his face, and started walking toward the main road to look for any work at a nearby construction site. The outskirts of the city were dusty and bright. Sunlight turned the road white. Hawkers moved with trays of oranges and sachet water. Okadas hissed past. Children chased a ball that was more dust than leather. Then he saw her. A girl in a torn brown gown stood near the road. Her hair was scattered. Her face was wet with tears. She was barefoot, and her feet had turned the color of the earth. She held out her hands as people passed. "Please," she cried. "Please help me. My mother is sick in that uncompleted building. She cannot breathe. Please follow me. Help me carry her to the hospital. Please." People quickened their steps. Some looked at their phones. Some laughed and shook their heads. One man said, "I beg, madam, I no get time for your story today." A woman pulled her child closer and whispered, "Don't go near her." The girl tried again, voice shaking. "She is the only person I have. Please." No one stopped. Benjamin did. He felt something harsh and true move inside him. He remembered the empty hospital corridor the night his parents died. The way he had stood alone, staring at a door that would not open again. He remembered wanting anyone to place a hand on his shoulder and say, "I am with you." He walked to the girl. "I don't have a car," he said. "I don't even have a bicycle. But I have hands. If you don't mind, I can carry her on my back. I can work at the site to raise money for drugs. I lost my parents on my best day. I know how it feels to watch and do nothing. I won't leave you." Her eyes lifted to his. For a moment, the road went quiet. Then her face broke with a soft, breaking kind of hope. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you." They hurried across the road. Heat rose in waves from the ground. A goat trotted by, bells jingling on a rope. From far away, music drifted, Afro beats bouncing over walls and trees. "What is your name?" the girl asked. "Benjamin," he said. "Yours?" "Sonia." Her voice shook when she said it. He could not tell if it was fear or something else. "Hold on," he told her as they reached the gateless mouth of the uncompleted building. "We'll take your mother to Street Gregory's. It's not far." Sonia nodded, then stopped, as if listening to something inside her. When she looked at him again, her eyes were steady. "Benjamin," she said, "no one else listened to me. Only you. Whatever you see now, please don't run. He frowned a little, but he nodded. He was not going to run from a sick woman. They stepped inside. The building swallowed the Sunday. Their footsteps echoed. The ground was a map of sand, nails, and broken tiles. A plastic chair lay on its side, as if someone had left in a hurry. Benjamin glanced around for signs of life mats, a bucket, a wrapper on the floor, anything to show a woman had been here. They reached the open hall. That was when he saw the black-suited men. They stood like trees with roots in concrete. Sunglasses, earpieces. Quiet. Benjamin slowed, confused. "Sonia, it's okay," she said, squeezing his hand. "Come." A tall man stepped aside. Behind him, a figure turned toward the light. Chief Williams. Benjamin's thoughts tripped over each other. He had watched videos of the man speaking about innovation. He had written JJ Tech at the top of his notebook, circled it, and drawn a star. He had already mapped in his mind how their products could serve small businesses better, how to reduce data usage, how to make updates splash-free for low-end phones. This man was the symbol of everything Benjamin wanted to build. But why was he here? Benjamin looked from Chief Williams to Sonia and back. He noticed, for the first time, that beneath Sonia's torn gown, she stood straight, like someone who had learned to be brave. Her hands had the tiny, clean half-moons of well-kept nails under the dirt. Her words carried a soft Lagos polish he could not place. Sonia stepped forward, still holding Benjamin's hand, and faced the billionaire. "Daddy," she said quietly. "This is him." Benjamin's feet rooted to the floor. High, outside, a breeze rushed through broken windows, making the torn curtain snap like a flag. Dust swirled in a thin dance. Somewhere far off, a siren moaned. Inside, the air felt tight and heavy, like it had secrets in it. Chief Williams studied Benjamin. His eyes were not harsh, but they were strong. He looked like a man used to the truth. "What is your name?" he asked. Benjamin, sir." "What brought you here, Benjamin?" The voice was firm, yet curious. "Sonia." Benjamin turned, then back again, trying to find words. She was on the road, crying. She said her mother was dying inside. "I couldn't walk away." "Do you know who she is?" the chief asked. Benjamin shook his head. He wanted to say, "She is a girl who needs help," but his mouth had gone dry. Sonia released his hand and stepped into the strip of light cutting across the floor. Her shoulders lifted. She reached up and touched her hair. With one smooth pull, the cheap wig came off like a bad lie. Under it, her hair was neat and black, pulled back in a clean bun. She tugged at the neckline of the torn gown. A hidden zip gave way with a low sound. The brown cloth slipped from her shoulders like she was stepping out of a story. Beneath it, she wore a crisp navy blue suit that fit like it had been made just for her, because it had. The dust on her feet looked out of place now, like paint on glass. Benjamin blinked. He felt the world tilt. Sonia faced him fully. "I am Sonia Williams," she said, voice steady. "The only daughter of Chief Williams Andrew, heiress to JJ Tech." The words landed like thunder. She swallowed. "My mother died when I was little. Today I wanted to see one thing. Who would help a crying girl that everyone ignored? Who would choose kindness when the crowd chose nothing?" She took a breath, and her voice softened. "You stopped." Benjamin's knees went weak. He had held his life together with thin threads of hope, of stubbornness, of prayer. Now someone had pulled a bright rope into his hands, and his fingers didn't know how to hold it. Chief Williams stepped closer. "Why did you help her, when you could have walked away like the others?" he asked. Benjamin's answer came before he could think. "Because I know how pain feels when no one sees you," he said, the words shaking. "I couldn't leave her." Silence filled the room. The guards stood like stone. The city hummed far away. Sonia's eyes shone. "Daddy," she said, not looking away from Benjamin. "This is the one." Chief Williams glanced at his daughter, then at Benjamin, then at the guards. He gave a small nod. Outside, an engine rumbled. Tires crunched gravel. The sound grew louder, closer. Black SUVs slid into the open like large, quiet animals taking their places. A guard spoke into his wrist mic. Another opened a door to the Sunday. Sonia turned to Benjamin. "Come with us," she said. "Where?" His voice was barely a breath. "Home," she replied. "To my father's house." Benjamin looked at the light pouring through the doorway, bright as a promise. He looked at his ash t-shirt, his dusty shoes, his shaking hands. This morning, he had been a nobody on a hot road. Now, a billionaire's daughter was asking him to enter a convoy. He took a step, then another. He reached the door, and on the threshold, just as the first SUV door swung open and the cool air swept his face, someone behind him called his name in a voice he had not heard in months. "Benjamin?" He froze. The voice came again, closer, surprised and scared at the same time. "Benjamin, is that you?" He turned, slowly. The person standing in the shadow made his mouth fall open. Benjamin's feet felt as if they had sunk into cement. He turned toward the voice that called his name, and when his eyes adjusted to the shadows, his chest squeezed tight. Standing there, at the edge of the hall, was a man he had not seen since university. A friend, a rival, and in some ways, a brother. "Chike," Benjamin whispered, his voice cracking. Chike stepped forward, his face sharp, his eyes burning with disbelief. He wore a well-cut grey suit, the kind only bankers or company executives could afford. A polished watch flashed on his wrist. "Benjamin, it's really you? After all these years?" For a moment, the uncompleted building was silent, except for the rustling curtain and the hum of engines outside. Chief Williams folded his arms, his sharp eyes moving between the two young men. Sonia tilted her head, studying Benjamin's reaction closely. Benjamin's mind raced. Chike had been his classmate, the one who had always competed with him for first place. They had both stood at graduation, their projects tied for best in the faculty. But when tragedy swallowed Benjamin's parents, Chike had disappeared into the world of the privileged. Rumor said he joined a big firm. Others said he had connections that helped him rise fast. And now, he was here, with Chief Williams. "Do you know him?" Chief Williams asked. His voice was steady, curious, but there was weight in it. Benjamin nodded, still stunned. "Yes, sir, we studied together." Chike's mouth tightened into a smirk. "Studied together, yes." But Benjamin was always too soft, always chasing dreams with no connections, always refusing help. "Look where that got you." His eyes flicked to Benjamin's ash-colored t-shirt and worn shoes. "And now you're here, dressed like a beggar." The guards shifted slightly, their expressions neutral but alert. Sonia frowned, her eyes narrowing at Chike's words. Benjamin clenched his fists. Shame heated his face, but something inside him resisted the sting. He remembered Sonia's hand in his, her desperate cry on the road. The way no one had stopped except him. He straightened his shoulders. "I may look like a beggar now," Benjamin said quietly, "but at least I didn't forget where I came from. At least I still stop when someone is crying for help." For the first time, Chief Williams's lips twitched as though hiding a smile. Sonia's eyes glimmered with approval. Chike's smirk faded. "We'll see how long your kindness lasts," he muttered. Chief Williams lifted a hand, and the tension broke. His deep voice filled the hall. "Enough. I brought you both here for a reason. My daughter wanted this test, and you, Benjamin, passed. But I must see more. Words are easy. Choices are harder." Sonia stepped closer to her father. "Daddy," she began softly, but he raised a hand to silence her. Turning to Benjamin, Chief Williams' gaze sharpened. "Come with us. In my house, you will face questions, challenges. If you truly have what you say, a heart that chooses kindness, even when the world offers nothing, then your life will change." "It is not 15 past." Benjamin swallowed hard. His heart thundered as he looked once more at Sonia, then at the waiting SUVs outside. He nodded. "Yes, sir." Chief Williams turned to his men. "Take us home." The guards moved swiftly, leading them out. Sonia walked beside Benjamin, brushing her shoulder against his in silent reassurance. But just before stepping into the convoy, Benjamin glanced back, only to see Chike watching him, his expression hard, his jaw tight. There was something in Chike's stare that warned him. This wasn't over. The SUVs roared to life. The city blurred past the tinted windows as Benjamin sank into the leather seat. His palms were sweaty, his mind spinning. He had no idea what awaited him inside Chief Williams's mansion. But one thing was certain, whatever test lay ahead would either break him or make him. And sitting quietly across from him, Sonia smiled faintly, as though she already knew which one it would be. The convoy curved off the busy Lagos expressway into a quiet lane lined with tall palm trees. The cars slowed as the black iron gates of Chief Williams's mansion swung open. Floodlights lit up the sprawling compound, showing perfectly trimmed lawns, fountains, and a driveway paved with imported stones. Benjamin's breath caught. He had never seen wealth displayed like this, not even in movies. Marble pillars rose like giants to hold the mansion's roof, and sleek cars shimmered under the lights. His cracked sandals felt out of place on the polished floor of the entrance. Sonia noticed his stiff posture and whispered, "Relax. You belong here more than you think." Ayol. He turned to her, startled. "Belong? Sonia, I don't belong here. Look at me. I can't even afford." "You can't afford to doubt yourself," she cut in gently, her eyes locking with his. "That's what my father is watching. Not your clothes, not your bank account. Your heart." Benjamin's chest tightened at her words, but before he could reply, the heavy doors opened. Chief Williams stepped inside, his guards flanking him. With a wave of his hand, he beckoned Benjamin and Sonia to follow. Inside the mansion, the interior dazzled Benjamin even more than the outside. A golden chandelier sparkled above, casting warm light across the marble floors. Expensive paintings lined the walls. Everything smelled of polished wood and jasmine. At the center of the grand hall was a long table where files and laptops. Saturday, Benjamin frowned. This wasn't just a home. It looked like the command center of a company. Chief Williams settled into a leather chair at the head of the table. Sonia stood behind him, her hands folded, her face unreadable. Chike, who had arrived in another SUV, strolled in confidently and sat at the opposite end of the table, smirking. Benjamin hesitated at the doorway. One of the guards nudged him gently, and he walked forward. Chief Williams' voice broke the silence. "Benjamin, you showed kindness when others turned away. That is good, but kindness alone cannot run a business empire. Today, I will see if you also have wisdom." Benjamin's pulse quickened. "Sir, I don't understand." Chief Williams tapped the table. "Here are two proposals. One is honest but slow. The other is quick but dirty. I want to see which you will choose." He slid the files toward Benjamin. Benjamin opened the first file. It showed a business plan for building affordable housing in rural areas, low profit, but steady, and it would help poor families. The second file made his stomach twist. It detailed a deal with a foreign company willing to pay millions quickly, but at the cost of forcing poor villagers off their land. Benjamin looked up. Chike's smirk widened. "Choose wisely, old friend. Rich men don't waste time on pity projects." Benjamin's mind spun. He thought of the nights he had slept hungry. He thought of the villagers on the file, faces he did not know but could almost imagine: mothers, children, old men. He clenched his jaw. Slowly, he pushed the second file aside. "I'll take the first." Chief Williams raised an eyebrow. "Even though it makes less money?" "Yes, sir," Benjamin said firmly. "Because money without humanity destroys more than it builds." The room fell silent. Sonia's lips curved into the faintest smile. Chief Williams leaned back, studying him with sharp eyes that revealed nothing. Chike scoffed and muttered under his breath, "Fool." Before Benjamin could breathe, Chief Williams snapped his fingers. A servant entered, carrying a tray with two envelopes. He placed them before Benjamin. "One contains a blessing," Chief Williams said. "The other, a burden. Choose again." Benjamin's throat went dry. He reached for the first envelope, then paused. Something in Sonia's eyes made him stop. She was watching him, almost pleading with her gaze. Slowly, he shifted and picked the second envelope. Chief Williams nodded. "Open it." Benjamin tore it open with trembling fingers. Inside was a single key. "What does this mean?" he asked. Chief Williams' eyes darkened. "That key opens a room in this house, a room no outsider has ever entered. What you see there will decide your future." The tension in the hall grew heavy. Sonia lowered her eyes. Chike's smirk vanished. Even the guards looked uneasy. Benjamin's heartbeat thundered. What secret lay behind that door? Chief Williams rose to his feet. "Follow me." Benjamin clutched the key in his palm, not knowing if it would unlock opportunity or danger. Benjamin followed Chief Williams down a long, echoing corridor. Each step he took seemed to thunder louder than the last. The guards trailed silently behind, their faces stern. Sonia walked close to Benjamin, her shoulder brushing his arm now and then, as if to say, "Be strong." The corridor ended at a tall wooden door, carved with strange markings. Benjamin noticed the faint smell of menthol and medicine seeping from behind it. His hand trembled as he pulled the key from his pocket. Chief Williams's deep voice broke the silence. "What lies inside will either crown you or crush you." Benjamin slid the key into the lock. The click sounded like a gunshot in the still air. He pushed the door open. Inside the room was dim, lit only by a single lamp on a side table. Benjamin froze when his eyes adjusted. On the bed lay a frail man, with tubes running from his arms. His breathing was shallow, his lips pale. At his side sat a nurse who quickly stood when Chief Williams entered. Benjamin's throat tightened. This man wasn't just sick, he was dying. Sonia stepped forward, her voice soft. "Benjamin, this is my uncle, the only brother my father has left. He is the reason for this test." Benjamin blinked, confused. "Test?" Chief Williams' face hardened. "Doctors say he has months left, but my brother has enemies, people waiting like vultures to seize his wealth and land. I need someone I can trust, not just with money, but with people, with life." Benjamin's hands curled into fists. "But sir, why me? I'm just no one. I don't belong in this world of yours." Sonia shook her head. "You're wrong. You belong because you cared when others did not. That is why I chose you." Benjamin's heart pounded. "She chose me?" Chike's interruption. Suddenly, a sharp laugh cut through the heavy silence. Chike stepped out from the shadows, his eyes cold. "So this is it? You're going to give him a place in the family because he picked the right file and opened a door?" Chief Williams's glare silenced the guards who shifted uncomfortably. But Chike wasn't finished. He walked closer to Benjamin, his smirk poisonous. "Do you know what he really is, sir? A man who failed. He had brains but no spine. He let life crush him, while he spread his arms wide. I built myself into someone worthy." Benjamin's jaw clenched. Anger burned hot in his chest, but he forced himself to breathe. He looked at Chike straight in the eye. "If building yourself means stepping on others, then I'd rather remain nothing." The room went still. The sick man on the bed stirred faintly, his weak voice breaking the silence. "Chief, let him stay." All eyes turned to the bed. Chief Williams's brother had opened his eyes, though barely. His gaze was fixed on Benjamin. "He has the heart we need." Chief Williams inhaled sharply, his mask of control cracking for the first time. A shocking revelation. Benjamin took a step closer to the bed, his heart thudding. The dying man's hand trembled as he reached out. Benjamin instinctively took it. The man's eyes softened. "You look like him." Benjamin frowned. "Like who?" Chief Williams's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. The sick man coughed weakly, his voice breaking. "My late son. The one nobody remembers. The one who—" He trailed off, his eyes fluttering closed again. Benjamin's mind spun. "Late son? Look like him?" He looked at Chief Williams, searching his face for answers. But the billionaire only turned away, his hands clasped behind his back. Sonia's lips parted, as though she wanted to speak but dared not. Chike's face twisted with fury. "This is madness. You cannot put him above me." Chief Williams turned at last, his voice like thunder. "Enough. You will not question me in my house." Benjamin stood frozen, his palm still holding the trembling hand of the dying man. His chest was tight, his mind a storm. Why did the sick man say I looked like his son? What truth is Chief Williams hiding? The lamp flickered, shadows leaping across the walls as if the house itself was holding its breath. And Benjamin knew his life was about to change forever. The air in the dim room grew heavy, as if the walls themselves pressed inward. Benjamin's heart thundered in his chest, his hand still gripping the frail palm of Chief Williams's dying brother. The sick man's lips moved again. His voice was faint, but each word struck like thunder. "Benjamin, you are family." Benjamin froze. "Family?" Chief Williams stiffened, his face unreadable. Sonia's eyes widened, filling with tears. Chike lurched forward, his face twisted in fury. "Lies, all lies. He's nothing but a street rat." Silence. Chief Williams's voice boomed, silencing even the guards. The dying man coughed, his chest rattling. He looked at Benjamin with eyes full of sorrow. "Years ago, my son fell in love with a woman my family never approved of. When he died, she was already with child. She vanished. We searched, but never found her. His weak hand squeezed Benjamin's. Until now. Benjamin's knees trembled. His mind flashed back his mother, always quiet about his father, always brushing aside his questions. The years of struggling alone. Could this be the truth? Chief Williams stepped forward, his eyes locked on Benjamin. Your mother's name was Grace? Benjamin's throat went dry. Yes, sir. The billionaire closed his eyes, exhaling slowly. When he opened them again, his stern mask had cracked. Then it's true. You are my nephew. The blood of this family runs in your veins. The storm breaks. Chike erupted. No, I won't accept this. I have worked, sacrificed, earned my place. And now, this nobody walks in and takes what I deserve. His voice echoed with rage. The guards tensed, waiting for orders. Benjamin lifted his head, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. I never came here to take anything. I only helped because someone needed help. Ismos the First's room. Sonia stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. And that's exactly why you deserve everything. Chike, all you've done is fight for power. But Benjamin, he fights for people. Tears welled in Benjamin's eyes. For years he had carried pain, alone, hunger, rejection, loneliness. And now, in one night, the truth shattered everything he thought he knew. Chief Williams placed a hand on Benjamin's shoulder, his voice heavy with both pride and regret. I failed my brother's memory by not finding you sooner. But from today, that changes. You are not just an orphan anymore. You are family. My family. The dying man gave a weak smile, his eyes glistening. Then I can rest, knowing my son's blood is home. With that, his eyes closed, his chest rising and falling one last time before going still. The room fell into silence. Sonia clutched Benjamin's arm, tears slipping down her cheeks. Chike staggered back, his face pale with fury and disbelief. This can't be happening. Chief Williams's gaze hardened. Chike, I gave you chances. But tonight, you showed me your heart. It is not loyalty I see there, it is greed. You may leave now. You will have no part in what is to come. Chike's mouth opened as though to protest, but one look at the guards silenced him. With a final glare at Benjamin, he stormed out, his footsteps echoing down the hall. When the body was covered and carried away, Chief Williams turned to Benjamin. Tomorrow you will take your rightful place, not as a beggar, not as a stranger, but as my son's son, and as the man I will entrust with my legacy. Benjamin's eyes stung with tears. For years he had slept on floors, worn, torn clothes, begged for opportunities. Now, standing in the mansion under the golden chandelier, Sonia's hand still holding his, he felt something he had never known before home. Sonia smiled through her tears. I told you, Benjamin, you belong here. Benjamin took a deep breath, his heart swelling with hope and fear. Life had tested him with pain and poverty, but kindness had opened the door to destiny. As the first light of dawn crept through the tall windows, Benjamin whispered to himself, I will honor this blood. I will not fail. And in that moment, the poor orphan became an heir. If you like this story, comment, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.